Well, Super Pre-Release is now done and dusted, and so begins the final stretch of the big wait for the full game to truly release in December. But now some of us are lucky enough to have cards to play with to take the edge off the wait. And so too begins the starter deck format. While some struggle to get one deck at all, there are some other people who were able to get two copies of at least one deck and therefore can upgrade their decks in order to be better off in the starter deck battles for the next 2 months. In this video, I'll be talking through how to upgrade and get the best out of your Animal Kingdom Pirates deck. I will be operating on the assumption that you have 2 copies of the deck and you have a few copies of the promos as well. Also, to be perfectly clear, the free demo decks aren't legal for play. So don't even think about using that stuff in your decks unless it's just for friendlies and use of proxies. They have demo printed across them and that's how you know you can't use them. The Kaido deck had a lot of good tools in it unchanged for Super Pre-Release, though it had the tendency to brick if you didn't get to ramp Don early on. So when fixing this deck up for starter deck format, the main thing to keep in mind as you make changes is to make sure that you have adequate ramp cards. I would say you should definitely keep Onigashima at 4. It may seem like a dead card in hand once you have established one on board, but remember it is good to have in your hand when you play Jack and need to trash a card from hand for his on-play effect. So speaking of Jack, he is one of the 2-ofs in the deck that you will want to bump up to 4. As he is a 3 cost, he will be very important to have when you do the leader's -7 Don ability, helping you get a Don back quickly so that the next turn isn't too hard for you. Lead Performer Disaster and Brachio Bomber are both event cards that can ramp up Don, and you can bump both of them up, but if you're only going to find enough space in your build to bump up one, I would lean towards Brachio Bomber as it is removal and that is always good value. And on the note of removal, Who's Who is a great card and so I think it's a good one to be at 4. It has trigger so it can be played from life. It may only hit 3 cost or less, but unlike Killer from the green deck, it can hit active mode cards, so that is good to get rid of problem cards that aren't open to attack, such as Sentomaru. Drawing is always an ideal effect to cram into your deck because when a large hand size can be the difference for having enough counter power to survive. So too are blockers, and Queen is extremely valuable card to put in as he is both of these things. I think he's worth putting in at 4, and the mini version of him, Sasaki, should stay at 4 as well. For your big boss monsters, the starter deck comes with King and Kaido at 2 each, and then if you have the promos, there's also the 7 cost Kaido which has 8,000 power and the ability to activate main -2 Don and give it Banish. How many of each of these to put in will have to depend on what you're going to prefer and what works best in testing. None of them have counter power and they're all high cost cards, so it's not a good idea to cram too many of them in. King is good in the sense that he has removal effect combined with strong power, but otherwise he is earth shattering and the removal effect is only hitting 4 cost or less. The starter deck Kaido is crazy powerful but costs a lot of Don to play and a lot of Don put back into the Don deck. He's good as a game ender. The promo Kaido I like. Banish is a good skill, and with it being an optional cost of just -2 Don, it's much easier to play this card without being vulnerable in your opponent's next turn. So I would definitely say it's worth putting 2 to 4 of this in. The only cards in the deck that are obvious choices to take out are the skillless cards. Keep page 1 for sure, as playing him alongside Ulti is good value. Jin Rummy I might consider worth keeping in, as it feels bad when you go first and you have nothing to play. She is the only card in this deck that can be played for 1 Don. And then going up the scale, Sheep's Head is the 2 cost, X-Drake is the 3 cost. As this is a ramp deck, I would say get rid of the lower cost first because you won't mind the higher cost cards. This is the deck list that I've come up for Animal Kingdom Pirates. If you are after advice like this on the other 3 starter decks, make sure to subscribe to my channel, Key Lessons, and you can also follow me on Twitter at Hacky Lessons. I'll see you guys soon.